So I kind of like to build my model in such a way that I can put certain things on a layer and hide them, kind of like I can in Photoshop or Illustrator. So can I do something like that in SketchUp? So let's take a look at SketchUp and I'll show you what I'm talking about with what are called tags. In SketchUp, that's what layers are called. They're called tags. They live right here under the tags menu. You'll find that under window right there, tags. You may have to go into your default tray if you're on a PC. You'll find it over on the right hand side. But these guys come up, and right now what I've got, as you can see, I've got two tags or two layers on my model. One called untagged, which means I just start building. It's a default setting. It gives you the very first one, and it lets you put everything on there. So unless you create new tags and move things to those layers, they will just all be on your untagged layer. So that's the start. But what you can do is say, I want this to be, I'm going to click this element and say, oh, it shows up on layer 1. I can create new layers right there, that little plus sign. I can even create a folder of layers and say, I want all my second story stuff to be in the second story folder, for instance. But I can click that. It shows up on layer 1. The way that I find that is I hold down Control, click on anything, and get entity info for that element. Whatever that thing is that you've clicked on, right click on it or Control click, and you'll get the entity info window, and it comes up, it looks like this. So you can see that 22 feet 10 inches is on layer 1, which is my layer for my dimensions. So that's how you select something and put it on a particular layer, and then if I turn off layer 1, I can hide all of my dimensions. So that's kind of a cool thing. By the way, the untagged layer, you notice, has a little pencil next to it. That means it's the active layer. Anything I try to draw right now will be on the active layer, and it will I can't hide the active layer. So if I wanted to hide something, if I wanted to turn these guys off, I can't have my pencil down here. So if I move the pencil there and try to click on that, it says, you cannot do that. Fine. By the way, this may look familiar to those of you who are still traumatized from Project 1. This is, of course, the plan view of Project 1, of that space that we built with the windows in the front and everything like that. In fact, where I am right now is in the model that I drew for this thing. Here is the elevation of that same model. So I'll make another video about scenes and how to make scenes. But this one's about the plan, or the tags, called tags or layers, and that's where you get it. You find it there, or your default tray, and then you can move things. You can create things and put them on there one at a time and hide them. I'm just going to make one more dimension so you can see how you go about doing it. Let me do it from this view because I'd like you to be able to see how you could go about doing this. I'm going to choose my dimensions tag tool right there next to the measuring tape. Click a spot. Whoops, sorry, dimensions tool. Click a spot that you'd like to measure from, some dimension that you think is useful to show off. Click there, and then start to, I gotta zoom down here a little bit, click there, and then pull that out. And it says 40 feet 10 inches. Hey, terrific, that means I drew my model correctly. And I can pull that out a certain distance and click once more to get it done. And then I click on it to say I want that to be on the layer 1, on my dimensions layer. And now it is, and now if I hide layer 1, gazoinka, it disappears as well. So that's tags. That's how you find that particular window, that menu, and that's the entity info window also that gives you a sense of how you would move things from one tag to another. Hope that helps. I will make more of these things very soon. So long.